Hello, and welcome to Get In We're Healing, the space where the mystical meets the modern. I'm Lynda Harrison, an intuitive healing practitioner, and I created this podcast to help you reconnect to your truth, your energy, and the invisible forces that are always guiding us. Today, we're going to be talking with Jessica Lynne, the incredible medium. She's able to connect with your departed loved ones, and the messages that she brings through are just absolutely incredible. The level of detail with connecting to your loved ones in giving messages and describing what they're like. But I will put at the bottom her Instagram, TikTok, website so you can check all of it out for yourself. In this podcast, we're going to be talking all things energy, how messages from spirit come through for her, and also she's got some tips for any budding mediums. Hello. Here we've got Jessica Lynne, the amazing medium. If you followed any of her stuff, oh my gosh. Well, if you haven't, prepare to have your mind blown. Thank you so much for jumping on with me today. I really appreciate it. I couldn't believe it when you said yes. I was so excited. So, where should we start? Well, I really want to know is how you got into it. So, where did it all start? What did you do before? What were you doing?
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So obviously I am a psychic medium, but I haven't always been so. I have always had an incredibly strong intuition. Like I've just always known things that I haven't been able to explain why. And that was even when I was like a really young child. Like I just would be aware of like who was going to walk into the room, or I just had these really strong gut feelings about what is good or what is not so good.
Yeah.
But I didn't really do too much with it until I was about 12 or 13 years old when my nana passed away. And I just had this thing in my head where I'm like, she can't just be gone. Like, that cannot be a thing. Like,
Yeah.
she's just gone and there's nothing else. And I can't connect with her. I can't talk to her because she was someone who was such a significant part of my life.
Yeah.
So I used to actually sit there with, she was cremated. So she had this beautiful ashes box. And I used to sit there and talk to the ashes box and hope that she could hear me. And I remember one day I was sitting there and I started to smell this really sweet wooden aroma. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like that this might be her, like connecting with me. And I was like, you know what? It might be a coincidence because the ashes box is wooden. It's probably just the box. But
Yeah.
it started to fill the room like every time I would talk to her. And I'm like, this has got to be something. So I remember like testing her out. I'm like, all right, Nan. I'm like, if this is you, then you have to do this like when I'm not around this box. Like you have to do it when I'm somewhere else. Like I want to smell this smell outside of this environment. And I remember being in the supermarket one day and I got this whiff of that smell really quickly, almost kind of faintly, too quick for you to like sniff again. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, this is a thing. This is how she connects with me. And that was like my first, I guess, encounter with the other side, knowing that there is so much more to life than this. But I just, honestly, I just became obsessed with mediums. After that, I was like seeing
Really?
any medium that I could find. I was like going to the local crystal shop and doing meditation classes and sitting
Wow.
with
At
like the
12.
older ladies. I reckon I was like 15 around that time, and I was like 15, 16, and I was exploring, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and see if I can get a good nice crystal. And then they had all these classes, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sit with these ladies at like night on like a Thursday night, and we would sit there and do these meditations, and afterwards we do all these debriefs like, oh, what did you see? And like my spirit team is super funny, so every time people would be having these epiphanies, and they saw this garden and all these trees and all this stuff, and I'm like, I just sat there and they gave me this really big sandwich, and they like put it in all these different layers and all this stuff, and people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I
Who
don't
is
know.
this
But it's,
kid?
I know, but even to this day, my spirit team aren't very funny. Like they're on the nose kind of thing. Like it's not, very serious and, pristine. It's very messy and funny. And I love working with the spirit team that I have. But
And when
anyway,
you were,
so
oh God,
yeah, go for it.
when
Sorry.
you're like in these like crystal shops and going to all of these meditations and things, are you like the youngest there by quite far?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Like I was sitting there with like, 20, 30, 40-year olds, who knows? I was just like in it. I was like, yes, I'm so
Wow.
fascinated with all of this. And they welcomed me with open arms, like genuinely. Like they were like, look at this young kid, like so into it. But I guess
Mm.
sort of shows that from a young age, I've always had this fascination
Yeah.
with the other side. And it hasn't just been something I developed, in my 30s. That's when I turned on my mediumship, I guess, switch. But until then, I was always in this space, dibbling and dabbling. And I remember seeing this medium one day, and she said, Jess, I don't know why you're here. Like, I don't know why you're coming to see somebody when you should be on the other side of the table doing this work yourself. And I
Wow.
remember thinking, oh my God, that would be amazing, but I don't really know how to. And I kind of let that simmer until I ended up seeing another medium years down the track who did courses. And I was like, oh, I'm so fascinated with the way that you work because she was really direct and blunt and like to the point. And I'm like, I like you because I think you're not going to bullshit me. You're going to tell
Yeah.
me what's true and what's not. And I need to learn from somebody that has that sort of rawness, I guess, to their energy. And
Yeah.
so I ended up dragging one of my mates to one of her classes. And within like 10 minutes, she taught us how to blend our energy with spirit. And I had this man coming through and I was channeling her dad for this person. And it was just like a whole thing. It's like somebody literally turned on the light switch and all my memories came back of what I was supposed to remember when it came to
Oh my
connecting with the
God.
other side. Fascinating.
No. So you
Yeah.
went to this session and then you just knew she just like activated something and you knew. How old
Yep.
were you then?
30? I reckon it was like
Okay.
5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, I
Wow.
literally walked into that class. She's like, this is how you blend with spirit. We did this exercise. She sat some stranger in front of me and said, all right, channel. And I was like, all right, we'll see what I can feel. And then as soon as I started doing it, it was like all these things just started happening. And it was like literally I was asleep for all these years and someone just woke me up. And
Wow.
from then on, like it was hard. Like mediumship's not easy. You have to put in the work and you have to build the symbology and you have to build your confidence. And there's all the pieces of the puzzle that everybody else has to go through when you're learning anything new. But for me, I just felt like this knowing. I was like, I think this is what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
And it took me a little while to really step into it, but I always knew that this was something that was going to be part of me now in this way.
So when you went to this lady at 30 and all your gifts were kind of like unlocked, what were you doing
Mm.
before? Did you have a regular job on the side?
Yeah, so I was an executive assistant. So I worked in like really high corporate environments. The last job was to a celebrity basically a celebrity designer, fashion designer. So I'd worked really damn hard to get to where I was, and
Yeah.
I was almost apprehensive to walk out of it because I knew it was like 10, 12 years investment in that career. And
Yeah.
I finally got on a good wicket, and I was like, oh my God, like these opportunities, people just don't walk out of these jobs. Like this
Yeah.
is not something that people do. Like they're the ones that you grip onto with both hands. And I was just like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm like, I'm going to see what I can make of this, whole thing. And it
Wow.
truly, like, I had a bit of a stepping stone in the between because I ended up going, you know what? I think I need to find an EA job that isn't as full on so that I can do some of my mediumship. So I kind of had a bit of a stepping stone approach that I was going to take. So I
Yeah.
ended up leaving that job for one that looked easier to do.
Yeah.
But within 5 days, I was like, this is not for me. Can't do this anymore. I'm not invested in it. I'm just going to go and see if I can make something of my mediumship. And it worked and it's going. And I think by the time I'd stepped into it, though, I was fully booked for a year on my part-time hours. And I
What?
had a wait list of like 800 people at that point. I'm telling you, it took me a really long time and a lot of convincing from the spirit world for me to even think I could do this.
Wow.
They knew I needed to see like the evidence of like, Jess, are you legit? Like we have got all these people lined up for you that want to do readings. How are you not convinced that you can do
Oh
this?
my gosh, that's absolutely insane. And it's
I
almost a bit
know.
like you've gone from, because I used to be a celebrity PA as well, which is really weird.
No
Um,
way.
yeah, I know.
I
But
love
I
that.
know how hard it is. And it's like
Yeah.
you've gone from that 24/7, like You've
Yeah.
and then you've got 800 people waiting for you, which is the same kind of like pressure on your head.
Yeah.
How did that
Hmm.
feel? Like, were you able to manage it?
I think that I was more, I've actually, you know what, I've struggled since transitioning from that kind of life to this
Yeah.
one because that life was very always on, hustle, fast paced, no second guessing, no time to lose kind of thing. Whereas mediumship, you can't operate like that. There is no quick, get the answers. Blah. It's all very flow and
Yeah.
letting things go and allowing the universe to provide, and you plant the seed and then they plant another one, and it's all very like, flowy, and there's no room for hustle. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So trying to switch my mind from the need to push 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 to allowing things to be, that has not been an easy journey for me. I even still struggle with it. And I'm trying to find more balance in my life with trying to show up for so many people that need me, but
Yeah.
also my boundaries in knowing what I'm capable of doing and how many people I can actually service in any given moment. I remember when I first started, I was working 7 days a week in this, and I was doing like six, sometimes seven readings a day, every day.
Whoa.
That's how I was trying to service people. I was like, oh my God, there's so many people and I need to do it. And so many people need me. And I felt bad and I wasn't charging very much. And it just was not great for me.
Yeah.
And I decided, you know what, I need to find a little bit more balance for me. Like I've only cut down to 5 days like 2 weeks ago.
No. Oh
I'm
my
legit. I
God.
was still doing the six. It's only 2 weeks ago. I've only had like two full weekends. And
Well
this is what I mean. I'm
done.
still working on it. I'm still
It's so
trying.
important. Yeah, well
I
done. So what
know.
do you do? Do you like meditate? Like how do you try to keep yourself? And it's so hard, isn't it? Because when you're used to that fast track mind, and I feel like we're quite similar, like we talk quickly and we have lots to say, and you have
Yeah.
to kind of like pull yourself back. How do you do that?
I know. It's hard. It's really hard. I love my sauna. We recently got a
Ooh,
sauna. So
nice.
I love to sit in that and I almost feel like throughout the day you accidentally pick up on residual energy from readings. And it's not like, well, people are dumping their shit on you, but you kind of know how to combat that. But sometimes little residue kind of stays. And me getting in the sauna, I feel like I'm detoxifying all the things and all my thoughts and all my worries. And I love doing that. And I also love to walk my dog, so I do that too. And it's hard for
Mhm.
me because I don't necessarily associate meditation with myself.
Yeah,
And that's weird. But when I'm meditating, I'm always preparing for something. I'm meditating because I'm preparing for a reading. I'm meditating because I'm asking my spirit team to align something else for me or whatever. It's never been a relaxing state for me, and it hasn't been in a really long time. And I kind of want to change that. I
yeah.
want to start doing it more just for me. Sometimes when I'm sitting there on Zoom, this is really random, but I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, but anyway,
Love it.
and I'm waiting for the person to show up. So I'm kind of just sitting there and they might be a few minutes late. Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, oh, I'm like, all right, just gonna sit here waiting for them. And sometimes I just close my eyes and I just breathe really deep and I feel into the energy and I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, this is what it feels like to be in my own energy. I'm like, this has been a while. So sometimes when you guys are a few minutes late, you're actually doing me a favor.
Yeah. You get a
So
breather.
I get a breather and I go, oh, actually, I can connect to myself right now. This is actually quite nice. But I don't intentionally do it. And I think I need to do more of it. So
Yeah,
telling
I think
myself
that
off
that's why
here.
that came in for this conversation, then I reckon. Your little
Me too.
The other thing that I've really noticed is that your house, or maybe this is just for like the gram, but your house is so tidy. There's like no clutter. I'm like, is that part of your spiritual practice? Or do you just
That's
move
part
everything
of
out?
my wife's spiritual practice. She hates mess and clutter, and it honestly, our house looks like this all the time. And
Wow,
she
I need
cleans
the
it every
jade.
single day. Everyone needs a jade, genuinely. But you
I
know
think they
what?
actually
I
do.
like it. I like it. It feels good. I like to have like, that clean energy, and we're always opening the windows and doors, and you get all the bad juju out and let all the fresh air in. And I like a tidy house now. I've become accustomed to the no clutter. But
It's
people often come
amazing.
in, they're like, "Is this a display home? Do you
Yeah.
guys live here?"
Have you got
I'm
any
like,
things? What's your stuff?
I promise we do. Open the cupboards. Oh gosh.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was tell me about the limes.
Oh.
How did you like tell everybody about what the limes are, but also I want to know like how you came across it. Like how did you realize what it did?
Yes. So if anyone has heard of the lime hack, amazing. If you haven't, you will now. Basically, so I had a really interesting experience one morning. I was just laying in bed. My wife had gone to work, and I felt somebody come into my room. So I was facing the window, not the door. And I was like, oh, maybe Jade's come back. Like she's come back. She might be feeling sick, whatever. She's just going to come back to bed. So I felt someone like sit on the bed, and I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. And then I felt like something come closer to me. And I said, oh, maybe she's gonna hug me. But then I didn't feel that. I felt like this one finger scratched down my back. And then I felt this breath like on my ear. And I'm like, that's not her. I'm like, this is someone else. I'm like, this
Oh,
is freaky. I'm feeling like the ick. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I started panicking. I'm like, I've got to either run, or I'm going to have to turn around and like grab this person and confront them. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be brave. I'm just going to turn around. I'm going to grab their arm. So I went to grab them and turned around, and there was nothing there. And I was like, oh, nah.
oh.
I'm like, forget it. I'm like, the house needs an exorcism. I'm like, I don't know what the hell is in my home, but I'm not playing. Like, this is no good. So I got up and got all my sage and Palo Santo, and I'm like chanting and trying to get rid of this like exorcist spirit. And anyway, so I ended up calling my kinesiologist, and I'm like, I need help. I'm like, I don't know if something's attached to me, because I'd had a few funky readings and some weird days before that. So I'm like,
Right.
maybe something's just on me. So I went to her and I'm like, look, you got to feel me out, see what's going on. And she goes, look, you've done a pretty good job. Like I can kind of feel something on like the outskirts of like your energy and your aura, but you've pretty much rid it. And she goes, I'm just going to put some lime essential oil on your feet, and we'll just see if that does anything. And as soon as it touched my feet, everything disappeared. I felt like my
Wow.
is this magic? And she's like, I don't know. She goes, I just decided to use this because I felt intuitively inclined to. It must really work well for you. And I said, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and I'm going to like diffuse that. I'm going to get a lime. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to put it in my room, and I'm going to like basically do an exorcism with the limes. And it worked. The whole house felt instantly calm. We slept so well, and I just started sharing it. I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, I literally cut a lime up and put two halves in a bowl next to my bed, and we're sleeping amazing. All the pets are all calm. Everything is like amazing. And everyone started doing it. And then it became this viral trend, and all the mums are doing it on TikTok with their children. They're saying their kids are sleeping for like 10, 11 hours a night. They're talking about that they don't see the monsters anymore, and
Yeah.
the weird, creepy things in the corner, and everyone's just hooked on. And if you look it up, like lots of cultures use limes. They're an incredible cleansing agent. They rid negative energies, any entities that don't belong in your space. Like it's a thing. It's just
Yeah.
people kind of don't really talk about it this publicly or openly
I
until
know.
I started talking about it, and now it's a thing again.
Yeah, well, I've got limes in my kids' bedrooms, and it was so funny. I was speaking to one of the dads, and you forget who you're talking to, don't you? And I was saying to him, "Oh yeah, Molly's been having nightmares, so I just put some limes in her in her room." And his face, he was like, "All right." I was like, "Oh my gosh,
He's like,
speaking to the
cool
wrong
story.
person."
Oh my God, that's too good. But it's funny because when we started, like, obviously this started going like viral, everyone was sort of doing it. I began to sort of think about it, and I got a lot of responses from people going, oh my God, I don't want to put like limes in my room. Like, what about the fruit flies? And like, there was a lot of like talk around like the actual physical lime and what you do with it, and it gets a bit moldy and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. And then I ended up going, you know what, I'm going to create products that are alternatives to the physical limes. So then I created my brand, the Lime Glow.
Yeah.
So we've got the lime candle, and it's all got like the pure lime essential oil and physical limes in nearly all the
Okay.
products, and it works a charm. But now we have the diffuser for the room. So if you don't feel like putting the physical limes in, you can put our diffuser in, which is the oil that will do the same thing. So
Okay.
anyone who's worried about the fruit flies.
Yeah. Do you know what is so weird though? I've been using the lime thing for a long time, ever since you said, and there's
Yeah.
never been any fruit fly. And I'm like, it's so
Ah,
weird because in the kitchen there always is, but when I put it in their rooms,
yeah.
there never is.
Oh, that's
Crazy.
so good. Yeah, I've never had the problem either. I've more had the like they go dry and they go a bit funny, like a bit moldy. But yeah, some
Yeah.
people are really concerned. Some people just don't like the look of them having the limes in. People are like,
Yeah.
what the hell is that? But yeah, if you want an alternative, we have one for you. So you can
Yeah.
go to thelimeglow.com
Yeah, exactly. Go to
and get your stuff.
limegrow.com. And I'll put all the stuff at the bottom as well so everyone can
Yeah,
click on
cool.
it. So
Beautiful.
if they have the candle, is it okay to just
Mm.
be in the room, or should you light it for a certain amount of time?
Yeah, so I always like to set an intention for all of the products because I think intention is where all your attention goes and then everything manifests from that. So I usually use the candle in like the bigger spaces of the house, like the kitchen, the living room, all that kind of stuff. You can have it on for like an hour or so. It has the same effect. You just got to
Okay.
get the aroma around. But I always set the intention of wanting the candle to rid anything that doesn't serve me and remove any spirits that don't belong and all that kind of thing. And it's the same thing when you flip your reeds in the diffuser. Every time I flip them, I say the same thing. I'm flipping these, I'm putting out the energy of this and that. We also have a room spray now too. So you can
Mm,
spray your room and say the intention of ridding the vibes and all that jazz as well. So
yeah.
yeah, you don't have to have the candle on for hours and hours. It
Yeah,
still
I
does the
think I
same
need the
thing in
room
a quick
spray
time.
because the limes have stopped
Yeah.
working. So I need something more
You need the
powerful.
spray.
Yeah, my daughter's still having nightmares. So
Oh
yeah, I
no, the
need the
poor thing.
spray. So
Yeah, the spray works a charm.
the other thing I was going to ask you, connecting in with that and like all of the bad energy, have you
Mm.
ever done a reading for someone where you've been like, oh, I'm getting bad vibes from this person, or bad vibes from the people that they're bringing in with them?
Yeah, see, it's really difficult because for me, I've always set a really strong intention when I read for people that I only want to bring in souls that I resonate with, souls that come in with the highest good or want to help this person in some way. So I don't often really get the negative, fear-based, dark energies. It's just sort of something I don't really dabble in. It's kind of like when people ask me to predict people's deaths and things like that. I just don't like
Wow,
any of that stuff. It's just
that is a
not for
weird
me.
question.
Um, yeah, I get asked all the time, do you know how much longer this person has to live? I'm like,
Oh,
what? I'm
yeah.
like, no, I don't know. I don't want to say that. I'm not into it. But yeah, definitely I've tapped into people who perhaps I'm not the most aligned fit for as a client and me as a medium. So I'll kind of be in their energy and we'll be trying to make it work and it feels very clunky and like it kind of doesn't really fit. So that can feel a little bit darker in energy, not because the person's bad, but just because it's not an aligned fit.
Yeah,
So I'm really quick to kind of shut those situations down. Even sometimes, and this happens actually a lot, where people will book readings for friends or their partners or something like that, and the person actually hasn't done it for themselves. So they
yeah,
don't have that same level of investment, or they're kind of like, oh, we'll just see what happens kind of thing. And I've come up against lots of men whose wives have booked them in, and they're like, I don't even believe in this shit. Like, I don't even know what this is, kind of thing. And they're like, oh, I guess I'm open. And you get like 5 minutes in and you realize that they're really just not. And you're like, this is going nowhere. So I end up shutting those like sessions down. And I think it's really hard as a medium because we want to do well and we want to please and we want to make someone believe. But to be fair, if you're an aspiring medium out there, or if you are a medium, you will probably agree when I say it's not our job to convince someone that the spirit world exists.
yeah,
That's not what we're here to do. We're
yeah,
here to help them reconnect and find healing and closure and get the next piece of the puzzle in your journey. Like, I'm not here to convince you of anything. I
yeah,
would hope that you're stepping forward with an already having some form of a faith or of a knowing, but just wanting more of the solidification of that. So that's what I call in clients who are at that point in their life where they already know certain things, but they just want that extra nudge or that extra validation.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I've watched some of your, and if anybody goes onto your Instagram, they can see you've got loads of examples of when you're calling people in. And it's amazing how you get so specific about the details. And I'm just like, wow. And the yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful, like the way that you connect. What does
Oh,
it
thank you.
sound like to you? Like what are you experiencing when the messages are coming through you?
Yeah, so it differs by spirit. Sometimes I will see a lot, so they'll give me lots of flash images of particular scenarios, or I may see words in my head. I'm very word based. A lot of my symbols are actually just one word, so they'll just be like traditional, or they'll be like, car or something like that. And then when I get that, I'm like, oh, okay, now I've got to go down this direction of talking about a car. What about the car? Like, I kind of just flesh things out, and that's something that I really like to do. And I get really curious when I don't get things right. And I used to get really mad, like I get really sad, like I'd be like, "Oh, damn it, how'd I get that wrong?" And then I'd shut myself down. Whereas now I go, "Ooh," I'm like, "Why is that not right? How does that not fit right now?" So then I'll ask
Yeah.
them to show me things clearer, or to say something else that might help me go in that direction. So I guess also, if anyone out there who's doing mediumship, don't get sad when you get things wrong. Get curious and be
Yeah,
like,
that's
"Ooh, what am
great
I
advice.
not getting? What am I
Yeah,
not feeling? What am I not sensing right now?" And then go deeper and get the answer, because your sitter won't care. They want you to get it right. They want to know what the hell you're talking about. They
yeah,
would rather you take the time to dig deeper and find the real answer. They're not going to remember the first thing that you got wrong. They're going to remember the end, which
yeah.
is that you pieced it all together and now we know what the hell spirit are talking about. So I do see, I do feel, I do hear. If someone's having had a heart attack, I might get heart palpitations. So I kind of surrender my body to spirit and just let them do whatever they need to do.
This sounds so wrong.
I know,
I love that you're like
right?
telling everybody how basically like all of the work that goes into it, because when you just see you on Instagram or TikTok, it's it's easy to just assume that you just like got this and like you were just born with this gift and it just flowed through you and it was just so easy. But it's really nice to hear like all of the stuff that goes on in the background, all of the years that you've put in. And I loved
Yeah.
your I think it was your last podcast. Was it Isabeau Maxwell? The
Oh, yes, she was great.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
The thing that I really liked about her was because often when you're trying to find a medium or anybody who's really connected with the spirit world, something major has happened to them. Like they've had a car crash and then all of a sudden they can speak to spirit, or they've had a near-death experience. And I loved that she said that nothing had happened to her. It was just something
Yeah.
that she worked on and she developed. And I guess the same with you, although you had the knowing
Yeah.
all along, but you just worked
Mm.
on it and let it flow
Yeah.
through you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not, the thing is, everyone can connect with spirit. There's not this chosen one, like I'm a chosen one and you're not. It's just that some people choose to work on it,
Yeah,
and some people choose to tap into it. It's like anything. Like we could all technically be a doctor if we put our mind to it and did the course and did all the things, but not everyone's going to do it. It's the
yeah,
same thing with mediumship. You have to do the work. And I feel like a lot of people will do the first course and then they'll be like, "Oh, I know how to do it." And it's like, yeah, but what kind of medium or practitioner do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody that just randomly off the cuff gets things right? Or do you want to be consistent? Do you want to build symbology? Do you want to get your confidence? Like, it's hard. It's so hard. I didn't start off like this with being able to flow in my readings. I was clunky. I was
yeah,
like, oh, I got that piece of information, then I stopped. Then I go in again, and then I'd stop. And it's hard to get the flow and not feel like you're what's the word? It's hard when you have a like different sitters, like different clients come through. Some people are okay with the silences. They're okay with you taking your time to flesh it out. And others have really fast-paced personalities where they almost energetically you feel like they're wanting you to hurry up.
yeah,
And they're like, "What's the next piece? What's the next thing? What's the next thing?" They're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." You might even hear them say that. Yep, yep, yep. Like they're like wanting you to hurry up and get more, get more. And I find that that's quite difficult sometimes to navigate when you're still wanting to allow things to flow and you're trying to work on being quicker, that actually makes you really nervous. So there must be a lot of aspiring mediums who are going to listen to this podcast because I keep feeling like I'm trying to teach everyone right now, which is
Yeah.
fine. But maybe that's what I'm here to do today is give a bit of pointers. But don't let your sitter dictate the narrative.
Yeah.
Don't allow them to make you act differently to what you instinctually know you need to in order to get the information. Because once you let them take over, you'll lose it. You have to hold your power. And if you're a slower person and you like to feel things deeply and you need the silences, just say that. Be like, I work in a way where I need the silences in order to get the information that you seek. So if I pause for a little bit, it's just because I'm going deeper.
Yeah.
Explain yourself. No one cares. If you say that, they'll be like, cool, all right, well, that's what she's doing. I don't need to fill the gap. She needs that time.
Yeah.
I've started to articulate how I work and what I need and all of that because then people don't feel awkward. I feel like if you just do something and you feel that they're not feeling it, even halfway through, be like, oh, sorry if I'm pausing a lot. It's just how I work better.
Yeah.
The end. And then
That's
you'll
a
feel more
good tip
confident.
because it's really awkward, isn't it? Especially if you're face to face or on a Zoom and then
Yeah.
you're trying to like connect and you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
they're watching me, they're watching me, they're wanting me to say something. Yeah. So it's really, yeah, that's a great tip.
Yes.
And it's really interesting how you say about not having, you don't have a special gift because I'm exactly the same. I say exactly the same thing. Anyone can do it. Like anyone could be a hairdresser if they want to be a hairdresser. You've just got to learn to do it. And with mediumship, I feel, I mean, I'm putting words into your mouth here, but I feel like it's just taking the step back and allowing yourself to be open and receive the messages because we live in such a
Yeah,
fast-paced world. We
we do.
miss everything.
Yeah, we do. It's in the stillness. And that's something that people often ask me. How do I connect to my intuition? How do I open myself up to spirit? Like, how am I going to get myself down this path? And I actually say to them, the thing that's going to help you connect the most is inserting pockets of time that you can be still.
Mhm.
Just little bits, even just in the morning, instead of getting up and rushing around, like get up 10 minutes earlier and, waltz around and have your coffee and, be in your own energy. And even that stillness, because no one's talking to you, no one's asking anything of you. That's actually the stillness. You don't have to sit in meditation to be still.
Yeah.
So think about when you can insert
Mm.
those moments of time where you genuinely feel like you can hear yourself. Because when you start to listen and you start to hear yourself again, then you'll realize what your intuition is telling you and you'll have those epiphanies throughout the day and the spirit world actually will have a chance to get in. So
Yes.
it doesn't have to be meditation, just saying.
And also, I think there's different forms of meditation as well. So, like, you could be gardening, or you
Yeah.
could be going for a swim, or in the. I get loads of my ideas in the shower because that's the only
So do
time.
I.
Do you? Anyway.
All the time. I have an epiphany. I'm like, oh, I have an idea about what we're going to do next, or I have an idea for a reel or something like that. Like it
Yeah,
always
I'm
comes in
like,
the
I'm
shower.
wet. Get my phone. I need to write it in my notes.
I know, I'm the same way. But you know what? Water is so cleansing. It's no wonder that we're getting rid of all the crap that's on our minds and on our bodies and whatever to allow us to be that like clear vessel again. So it's
Oh,
no
that's
surprise we get
really
epiphanies.
true. And I
Mm.
find that spirit communicate with me through songs. So I will get a totally random song that I've never liked in my head, and it won't leave me alone until I've checked the lyrics, and then I'm like, ah, got you, and then it's gone.
Oh, I love that.
It's
I
amazing.
love that. I've had that earlier on, and then that stopped. I don't know if they've decided that because I'm channeling constantly, they're like, we're just gonna leave her alone. But I feel like that I used to get songs like quite a bit. But music's such a way of soothing my soul. Like whenever I'm listening to it, I just feel different. So I think they might just be leaving the music for me.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
nice.
like that.
This
Mm.
morning in the shower, I got Madonna Lucky Star, and I was like, that's for today. You will be.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love it.
I love that.
No, I was like, also Australian. Amazing.
Exactly.
Not Madonna.
Exactly.
Oh no, I was thinking Kylie. She's not Australian, is she? No.
Yes, I love Kylie Minogue. Yes,
It's
I
weird
love
because I got
Kylie.
Lucky Star, Madonna, but then I was in my head it was Kylie. I don't know.
How weird.
I feel
Oh,
like
well,
there's a
I love Kylie
connection.
Minogue.
Good, you
for
should. It's
sure.
like your rite of passage.
It is, definitely.
When we're talking about how everyone can do, anyone can be a medium.
Mm,
I actually did a psychic mediumship course, and my
mm,
teacher was like, "Don't ever give your power away. Don't tell people that anyone can do it. Only you can do it. It's your gift." Da, 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 da. And I was just like, "Ugh, it feels so wrong." And I've like
yeah.
totally cut off from that person now because it was just so disingen. Is that the word? Disingenuine?
Mm. Yeah, I agree. I don't walk around like that. I think that that's not kind. And I've had a lot of family who have had that energy who are like, I'm the lucky one, I'm the chosen one, I know things other people don't know. And I'm like, that just like puts a bit of intimidation in the other person, like they're less than or that they're not in the know. And I just think that that's just a really negative, fear-based way to see this connection that we all have with the other side. So yeah, it's a bit ick to me.
Yeah, also for me, it's like a bit like I feel like it's quite salesy. Like that you
Yeah.
it's like they're trying to really sell something and it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be sold like that because what we're trying to do is help people and give people
Yeah.
insight. And
Hmm.
it's you're kind of making it a bit elitist.
Yeah.
And
Like
it
you
feels
need me.
fake. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels fake, like
I
this
don't
is a
like that.
brand. No.
I hate that. Like you need me. I have answers you don't have. And this is what I say to people too. I think one of the reels that's actually pinned on my page right now is that you don't need me to connect with your loved ones. And that's me pretty much putting myself out of business in that one reel. But I don't give a shit because you don't need me. Yes, it's nice sometimes to have the extra validation or, to get a whole big 40-minute conversation with someone on the other side and have it all in your head and it all feel very flowy, like you're literally talking to them. But every single day you can feel them, you can sense them, you can ask them for signs. You don't need me necessarily to do that. So I
Mm.
just like to put that out there because there's so much false information about needing mediums and, you don't have the gift and all that. You do. You
Yeah.
have it in you.
I think that's amazing as well. And it just shows your integrity and your authenticity as well.
Mm.
Um, because it's like most things, like you don't need a cleaner, but you want someone to do it for
No.
you. Like we don't need someone to connect to spirit, but it's nice to have someone to do it for you. Like cleansing your house,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I
It's true.
I had a question that, right, I'm going to end soon, but I had this question. I wrote it down because I thought it was really good. Oh, here we go. It's
Yeah.
probably not very good now I've said that. If this episode, this is a bit like Jade's three questions, her random questions
Oh,
at
I
the
love
end.
that.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
Yes.
If
I
this
love it.
episode had a spirit guide or energy overseeing it, what or who do you feel it might be?
Oh, I like this. You know what? The thing that I'm feeling around this, actually, you know what? I'm going to say what I'm feeling around you. Everything feels very blue and very calm, and there's lots of water, and it just feels very serene. Almost like I kind of want to put like I don't know, like some kind of mermaidy kind of spirit, I don't know, guardian around you and around us. I feel like there's a theme of water right now,
Yes, it's like
and
the
I
water
like it.
connecting us.
Absolutely, yes. I feel like we need a mermaid and we need a lot of water, and I feel like that we need a lot of grounding, calm, beautiful energy around this episode. So that's what I'm thinking.
I love that. I'm going to put a picture of a mermaid on now.
You should. There's a lot of like calming, beautiful. I think we all need to feel a bit more grounded. So it's funny how you asked me for a person or anything. I don't think any one person embodies this episode. I think it's more of a vibe.
Yeah, I love that mermaid vibes.
Yeah,
It's
I
interesting that you
love
say
it.
that because I feel like I'm frantic. I feel like I'm like blah, 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 but yeah, you
Oh, yeah. See, I'm a lot like I'm quite like when I get talking, I'm all like hypo and la. But I feel like that when it comes to actually the underlying energy of this is that we're both grounded, we're calm in our energy, we know who we are, We cleanse ourselves, we stay true to who we are, we're authentic,
Yeah.
and that's all like water vibes. That's flowy. That's
Yeah.
like also we can tap into our emotions, we're not scared of them. I think we all embody that right now. Let's step into that.
Yeah, step into it. Thank you so
Mm,
much. I've absolutely
of
loved speaking to
course.
you and hearing all about you. Um,
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Right back at you. I love what you do and I love following you. So thank you for being here and doing all the things that you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us. I hope this conversation helped you feel more connected to yourself, to your intuition, and to the unseen energies around you. And maybe you'll be paying more attention to some of the signs that are coming through for you, or notice that someone specific is trying to get your attention. A massive thank you to Jessica Lynne for sharing her light and wisdom. I'm going to post all of her details below, so give her a follow on Instagram, TikTok, get your limes, get your lime candles. I'm definitely going to be getting some lime spray for my kids' room. And if this episode sparked something for you, let us know. I love to hear any feedback always. Share it with a friend, tag us on your socials, or leave a little review. It helps us spread the magic. Mwah. Thank you so much.